In a world where silence often feels safer than standing up, one father refused to let injustice go unchecked. What began as a simple shopping trip turned into a public reckoning, a fight not just for dignity, but for the soul of a community. This is not just a story about a slap. It's about a moment that sparked outrage, exposed corruption, and proved that doing the right thing is never quiet. Jordan Hill had never been much for flash. A simple man with calloused hands and a quiet dignity. He spent his days working the shipping dock at the South Phoenix Depot, and his nights helping his teenage son Marcus navigate the fragile space between boyhood and becoming a man. Marcus was 17, an artist, and soft-spoken. He had always felt out of step with the louder kids, the athletes, the ones who knew how to own a room. Instead, Marcus lived in the margins of his sketchbook, where monsters and heroes came alive under the tip of a pencil. It was prom season. And Marcus, despite his protests, wanted to go. Jordan could tell. He had seen the way his son's eyes lingered on the invitation pinned to the fridge, how he paced near the front window when friends passed by in rented tuxedos. But Marcus had also seen enough to know he didn't quite belong in that world. Jordan made a decision. On Saturday morning, he woke Marcus early and told him to dress nice. No hoodie, no sneakers, just trust him. They drove across town to Maison Salon, the most prestigious men's boutique in Phoenix. It was the kind of place with imported espresso for guests, silk gloves on the staff, and price tags that politely hid behind the fabric. Jordan knew it was out of their range, but that wasn't the point. He wanted his son to feel like he belonged anywhere. That confidence wasn't sewn into fabric. That sometimes, stepping into a space that didn't invite you was an act of quiet rebellion. But the boutique had other plans. Karen Glennon, perched near a display of $800 cufflinks, clocked them the moment they entered, blonde, commanding, and draped in beige linen. She radiated the energy of a woman used to issuing orders and never hearing no. She was, as it happened, the HOA president of Silver Pines, a community known for manicured hedges and petty tyranny. To Karen, Marcus wasn't a guest. He was staff. She mistook his modest clothes for a uniform and barked out a demand. "Boy, grab that navy blazer. 42 regular." Marcus blinked, confused. "I don't work here," he said quietly. Karen's eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to me." Jordan stepped in, calm but firm. "He said he doesn't work here. That should be the end of it." Karen turned on him. Maybe if you raised him better, he'd know how to speak to adults. Jordan stood still, measured. Years of martial arts had taught him more than self-defense. It had taught him patience. But Karen wasn't finished. She slapped Marcus. The sound was small, but it echoed like a bell through the boutique. Marcus stumbled back, stunned. And before Jordan could react, Karen's adult son, Chad Broad, arrogant and unhinged, kicked Marcus behind the knee. The boy collapsed onto the marble floor. Jordan saw red, then black, then focus. One move, a turn, a pivot. Chad hit the ground with a sharp grunt, winded and stunned. Jordan grabbed Karen's wrists mid-lunge and gently, but firmly, pinned her to a display case. "Don't touch my son again," he said. His voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. Phones were out. Customers were recording. Security staff were frozen. But nothing escalated. Jordan held the line. By the time police arrived, witnesses had already uploaded videos. A security manager handed over footage. And Karen's world, so carefully crafted, began to crumble. Within 12 hours, the hashtag Karen Meltdown trended nationally. The footage went viral. It showed everything: Karen's slap, Chad's assault, Jordan's control. The internet was swift and merciless. Within days, her name was tied to years of HOA complaints, Neighbors who'd been fined for sidewalk chalk, hummingbird feeders, or hanging holiday lights a week early. Karen tried to sue. She painted herself as the victim, claiming assault and emotional distress. But it unraveled fast, because the internet had receipts, and so did her neighbors. One night, desperate and flailing, Karen showed up at the Hill house, screaming through the front gate. Neighbors filmed it. A Ring camera caught her threats, word for word. The lawsuit was dropped within the week. And the Silver Pines HOA board, most of whom had feared her for years, held an emergency vote. Karen was removed in under 10 minutes. One member, on her way out, said, "We're not doing this for Jordan. We're doing this because we're done being afraid of her." Chad didn't fare much better. His private school expelled him, citing violent behavior and community backlash. The expulsion letter arrived while movers were clearing out the HOA clubhouse. Karen had lost her throne. Through all of this, Jordan stayed quiet. He refused interviews, declined podcast offers, ignored book deals. His focus was on Marcus. The boy was bruised, but not broken, at home. He sketched in silence, and slowly, his drawings changed. Gone were the comic monsters. In their place were real people. A woman holding a protest sign, a neighbor standing her ground, a man in a suit helping his son to his feet. Prom night arrived. Jordan helped Marcus into a charcoal gray suit not from Maison Salon, but from a local tailor who had seen the video and offered it as a gift. The suit wasn't flashy, but it fit. In the mirror, Marcus looked taller, not just because of the shoes, but because something inside him had shifted. He turned to his father. Would it have been easier to just walk away? Jordan smiled. Easier. Yeah, but not right. Sometimes. You don't win by walking away. You win by standing still and refusing to be moved. A car horn outside, Marcus nodded, grabbed his sketchbook, and walked out the door. That night, as Jordan stood on the porch, watching his son disappear into the city lights, he felt a strange peace. The world hadn't changed. But one boy had, and maybe, just maybe, that was enough to start something.